Hi, I'm Dave Cutt, and you're watching another Comic Chat. What's up, guys? Back again today to talk about Vision. Now, we already went over his maker, Ultron, but we have not gone over Vision. So with that being said, let's dive in. His real name is inapplicable. His occupation and adventure, of course, is based in New York City. His height is 6'3". His weight is 300 pounds. However, weight may vary from nothing to 90 tons. His eyes are gold. His hair, he doesn't have any. His first appearance was actually in Avengers number 57 in October of 1968. So he's been around for a long time. His powers include superhuman strength, endurance. He has that jewel on his brow that discharges blasts of energy, of solar energy. He can make all or part of his body hard as a diamond. He can decrease his mass to become a wraith. He can partially materialize within another person, causing extreme pain. So we have Vision, the synthezoid with a human heart. And we can see here, Ultron forced Horton to help him build the Vision. Horton then programmed the Vision for independent thoughts. I mean, what could go wrong there, right? So it says, the synthezoid who would become the Vision was programmed with the brain matter of Wonder Man, who was believed to be deceased at the time. The synthezoid was created by Ultron, the Avengers' robotic arch-enemy. With the help of Professor Phineas T. Horton, the scientist responsible for the original Human Torch. That's right, he was the original Human Torch. He was a scientist. And so, emotional signals. Ultron sent the Vision to lure the Avengers into a trap, but the Vision grew to admire the Avengers and couldn't betray them. He broke free from Ultron's control and helped the Avengers defeat him. The grateful heroes rewarded Vision by inviting him to join the team. He was so shaken by the gesture that he actually shed a tear. The Vision's human emotions began to surface over time, and he slowly realized that he was falling in love with none other than Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. When she returned his feelings, they were married and took a leave of absence from the Avengers, settling in Leona, New Jersey. Okay, so it's just kind of like the movies, you know? He does fall in love with Wanda, and they end up breaking off for the Avengers for a little bit. I think that was Civil War when that happened, in that movie that they broke off, and then, of course, they got brought in. Was that Civil War? That was Endgame. That was the start of Endgame. Yeah, they took a leave of sabbatical in Endgame, or Infinity War. Yeah, that was crazy. So they kept true to it. But apparently there's a matter of trust. The Vision later returned to action to aid the Avengers against Annihilus, and was severely injured. Star Fox attempted to cure him by linking him with Isaac, a massive computer complex that controlled the moon of Saturn called Titan. Isaac tapped into a control crystal left in the Vision by Ultron and used it to alter the android's way of thinking. When the Vision was elected chairman of the Avengers, he decided to bring a new golden age to humanity by taking control of every computer on Earth. Wait, what? However, the other Avengers convinced him to abandon this plan. Okay, cool. Believing he could no longer be trusted, the government kidnapped and disassembled Vision. What? Okay, I didn't know that. The Vision was rescued by the Avengers, West Coast, and rebuilt. But he had lost his emotions and could no longer return to he could no longer return the Scarlet Witch's love. Their marriage eventually ended in divorce. The Vision's android body was later destroyed when the Scarlet Witch went mad and disassembled the Avengers. Iron Man rebuilt him after Fear itself, and he joined Hank Pym's Avengers AI team for being forced to serve his creator in the Age of Ultron. Wow, I did not know that. He gets taken apart, they get divorced and everything. That's crazy. You see down here they have Vision was the only hero able to enter the House of Ideas to defeat the villain Nyx. Alright, didn't know that either, but man, wow, crazy story. Finally, we have the Visions. In an effort to become more human, the Vision created a synthezoid wife named Virginia, and then combined their brainwaves to fashion twins named Vin and Viv. They tried to lead a normal life, though it was anything but. When the Grim Reaper attacked her children, Virginia killed him and hid the body. When she was confronted, Virginia then killed a neighbor What? Virginia then killed a neighbor. After Victor Mancha accidentally killed Vin, Virginia killed Victor too. She eventually committed suicide, leaving Vision and Viv to pick up the pieces. Later, when the Earth was suddenly turned into a gaming field by the Grandmaster and the Challenger, Vision was smashed by the Hulk and destroyed. Later, reassembled by Tony Ho, Iron Patriot. He led the fight against Nyx, Goddess of Night, and rejoined the Avengers. Wow, he actually has a pretty crazy story. You can see the last little bit. Vision emerges renewed after using the Light of Hope to defeat Nyx. And they even have some essential storylines down here. Giant-sized Avenger number 4. The Vision and Scarlet Witch were married in. And the Vision and Scarlet Witch numbers 1 through 12 are the Vision and Scarlet Witch leave the Avengers and move to the suburbs where they kind of start their own life. And then they have the Avengers number 251 through 254. And that's Vision attempts to take over every computer on Earth. Okay, so that I didn't know. That sounds very Ultron-y. We have finally West Coast Avengers number 42 through 1 through 45. The government kidnaps and disassembles Vision. Dude, he gets disassembled so much. That's crazy. I mean, at least he can always be built. I feel bad that Scarlet Witch lost her husband. It seemed like they had a really good thing. I mean, she went through far greater lengths in the movies to get what was lost to her back, Vision and her kids. And then he turned around and had kids with someone else. And that lady went on a killing spree. That's crazy. All right, and then they even have Vision in the anatomy book where they kind of break down his body and what's going on. You can see around the neck, he has high-performance plastics that make up Vision's exterior shell, are surrounded by a thin, flexible layer of material that simulates flesh. Yeah, that's right. They had a doctor create it in the movie. So it's actually miles of wires, tubes, carbon reinforcement cables, to act as the Vision's nerves, veins, and muscular fibers. Interesting. So yeah, those are all just wires and tubes. And the Vision's synthetic organs closely resemble those found in biological humans in form, if not in function. So I mean, he kind of does have human parts, he just doesn't have to use them, you know? And then their little breakdown on Vision is there's far more to Vision than wires and circuits. Ultron built this android as a means to exact revenge against his own creators, but the Vision overcame his programming to develop free will and compassion, like we saw in the movies. Synthezoid body. The Vision's artificial body falls into a design class distinct from both robotics and cyborg implantations. So he's classified as both a robot and a cyborg. Interesting. As a synthezoid, short for synthetic humanoid, he is made from mechanical components concealed beneath plastic and carbon polymers that give the illusion of human life. The Vision's physiology incorporates artificial analogs of the organs and tissues found in human body. Though all such components are constructed from synthetic materials, it has been theorized that the Vision's power-infused artificial frame is the result of experimentation with Horton cells, that is, synthetic copies of organic cells created by a process pioneered in the 1940s by an inventor, Phineas T. Horton. That's right. So the Horton cells are biocompatible and can store vast amounts of energy. The Vision's framework of synthetic bones, muscles is significantly stronger than human physiology. The carbon fiber sheathing around his muscles and joints allow him to lift loads weighing up to 5 tons. This remarkable strength is at least partially due to Horton cells used in the Vision's construction and their plastic and carbon polymer composition. His artificial body is optimized beyond standard human capability, granting him remarkable agility, speed, and sensory perception. Every component used in his construction is exceptionally durable, permitting the Vision to function under crushing ocean pressure or in the cold vacuum of space. And in the movie, Ultron actually made this body for him. This was supposed to be Ultron's body. And here, Ultron made this body and made Vision to kill the Avengers. But, I mean, he grew a conscience and went rogue. And then in this book, they actually give a breakdown of his gem and some of his abilities and how that happens. So we can see here the gem, it has gamma, X-ray, UV, infrared, radio. It has all types of sight. The Vision solar gem processes and converts multiple forms of radiation transmitted from our sun. That's crazy, yeah. So we can see the Vision draws power from the gem-like cluster of circuits in his forehead. This gem collects ambient solar radiation and converts it to system energy in a process similar to photosynthesis. This radiation, used to power the Vision synthezoid biology, can also be unleashed against the Vision's enemies. In such situations, the stored solar energy in Vision's body is channeled through this faceted gem, generating a focused heat beam capable of temperatures approaching 30,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Similar bursts can be fired from Vision's eyes. So it's a solar gem. It's not actually an affinity stone like in the movies, which I don't know. That's what they're saying though. It's a solar gem. He had the mind gem, right? In the movie, he had the mind gem. You can see he has density control too. Among the Vision's signature abilities is the power to alter his body's density. The phase shift is triggered mentally and results in the molecular dispersion of the Vision's body that allows him to achieve a state of intangibility. While in this configuration, the Vision can pass through solid objects like a ghost. By reversing the process, he can will his body to become as hard as diamond. At his most dense, the Vision has been weighed at approximately 90 tons, implying, under the precepts of Lavoisier's law of conservation of mass, which states nothing comes from nothing, that he is able to add mass to his super compressed form via an extra dimensional power source. That's a weird way to think of it. I know the law that you can't, I didn't know it was that guy's law. I know it as the law of Full Metal Alchemist. You can't create something with nothing. Everything has to come from something. So they're saying in here he gets this extra thing from a extra dimensional power source. That's kind of crazy to think about. Of course, he has flight. By reducing the density of his body to its lowest possible state, the Vision can achieve levitation or wind-powered flight. His vaporous form carried by ambient air currents. I will note that Vision has sometimes demonstrated remarkable control of his flight speed and direction, leading me to conclude that this synthezoid cells may be capable of rearranging into a specialized propulsion system. These dedicated clusters of cells could become activated when the Vision shifts to a state of intangibility, creating a forward thrust or offering a more precise form of directional control. He has a neural overdrive. The Vision has sometimes taken control of another person's body by lowering his density and occupying the same physical space as his target. I theorize that Vision's artificial brain is able to detect receptive neural linkages while in this state, perhaps via synchronized electrical impulses, which I didn't know. So he can take over a person's body like a ghost. It is wild. So at the top here, we have a theoretical model of the Vision's intangibility compared to a solid object as viewed on an atomic level. So normally you see they have a barrier and atoms bounce right off, but he stretches out his clusters of cells, allowing stuff to pass right through. Okay, I see. That is actually, I love this book. The anatomy gives great breakdowns of stuff, of abilities and stuff like that. They even do, what is this, a cell? Okay, well, I was never good in biology, but the organelles within a Horton cell control the Vision's density and store his full schematics. So these are his cells. This is a Horton cell, we can see. That's pretty cool. Each of the Vision's artificial cells contains full schematics of his form in a similar fashion to the DNA blueprints found in the organic cells of humans. If the Vision suffers a catastrophic injury, these schematics can be extracted for use in the complete nanotech reconstruction of his body and mind. The Vision can thus bounce back from injuries that would send most machines to the scrapyard. Yeah, but he doesn't get his emotions back. So we saw he gets dismembered and he gets put back together a lot, but he lost his emotions. Something wasn't right. And finally, his assessment: the Vision synthezoid construction is one of a kind. and his operating systems are virtually incorruptible, making him a trustworthy ally whom we can easily recruit with little concern regarding his identity or motivation. The Vision's vast array of physical powers will prove useful against these invaders, but it is his supercharged synthezoid brain that may be his greatest asset in a situation this dire. So this anatomy book is written by the King of Wakanda, and it's notes on all Marvel characters because they're about to have an invasion or something. But yeah, cool. A lot of cool stuff in here I didn't know. A lot I did know, and it was kind of cool to see how the movie really stuck true to the story and the timeline of comics. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll be back with more next time. Have a good one.